Good day to everyone, to anyone who watched this video, and mostly to Engineer Marvin Bartolome. So today, me and my company are going to discuss the topic about wind farm, specifically the wind turbine. So, ano nga ba ang basic principle ng wind turbine? So, sabi dito, wind turbines work on a simple principle. Instead of using electricity to make wind, like a fan, wind turbine use wind to make electricity. So wind turns the propeller like blades of a turbine around a rotor which spins a generator which creates electricity. So ayun yung basic um, basic operating ano niya, operating principles. So bago tayo tumungo sa next slides, panoorin muna natin yung maikling video na ipipresent namin sa inyo and para makita rin natin kung yung actual na wind turbine kung paano ito nagpa-function. So ito nga. Ito ay ang wind farm or wind turbine natin dito sa Pilipinas sa Ilocos. So pakinggan natin muna ng saglitan.
Ang mga wind turbines na ito ay may taas na abot sa 70 metro at ang blade naman nito ay may habang naabot sa 41 metro. Ang isang wind turbine ay kaya mag-produce ng
So let's pause the video for now. So kung makikita natin, yung pinakaharap ng wind turbine natin is yun yung tinatawag natin na rotor. And yung tatlong mahahaba naman is yung tinatawag natin na blades, which is connected to our rotor. And yung nagdudugtong sa kanila, ayun yung tinatawag natin na hub. So, sabi nga sa basic principle kanina, sa nakita naman natin sa video, yung force ng hangin is yung magpapaikot sa ating blade na nakakonekta sa ating rotor. Then yung rotor natin is papagalawin din nun or papaikutin din nun yung ating low speed shaft na connected sa ating gearbox. Then nakakonekta naman yung gearbox natin doon sa ating high speed shaft, and yung high speed shaft naman natin is connected sa generator. So from nanggaling na sa generator, doon na siya magpo-produce ng electricity. So let's proceed to the next slides. Next slide, I guess. So dito, wind turbine parts and operating principle. So dito mas makikita natin yung clearer version nung nakapaloob sa ating wind turbine. So dito makikita natin yung complete parts, which is yung ating rotor, yung ating high speed shaft, yung gearbox, high speed shaft, and also brake and yaw drive. Ito hindi natin nabanggit kanina, yung yaw drive and yaw motor. So ano nga ba yung purpose nun? Bakit may ganun sa ating wind turbine? Then yung yaw drive naman is siya yung nagro-rotate sa nozzle to face the wind. And kung makikita natin dito is yung parang plug na nasa gawing dulo is ang tinatawag nating wind vane. So para saan nga ba yung wind vane? So ginagamit natin yung wind vane para ma-determine yung direction ng wind. And the next naman is yung anemometer. So para saan yung anemometer? So yung anemometer naman is used to measure the speed or strength of the wind. So ayun. And lastly is yung nozzle. So yung nozzle naman is yung basically ito lang naman yung housing ng ating wind turbine parts. At para mas maintindihan natin ang mga functionality and yung tamang ayos ng ating mga parts sa wind turbine, and it will be discussed by my co-members.
The blade is
Blade aerodynamics. Wind turbine blades work by generating two aerodynamic force. This force is lift and drag. This is due to the wind and the air force. So, yung lift force is perpendicular siya sa airflow and nasa line siya ng blade rotation. While in the other hand, yung drag force is in the line of apparent wind direction, which means opposition siya ng wind direction or the blade motion. And when the drag increase in proportion to the frontal area of an object facing the wind. And nabubuo yung dalawa na to in difference in air pressure across the two sides of the blade. Well, create nga yung both lift and drag. And dito naman makikita natin yung lift and drag formula. Which means, eto, hindi ko na ito ganong kumbaga papaliwanag. So, makikita nyo naman dyan sa picture yung angle of attack nya, relative wind, center of the angle, and yung mga equation. So, sa equation na yun yung lift equation and the drag equation, which is lift or the capital L is equal to the lift coefficient C sub L times the density P times the half of velocity V squared times the area A sub B over 2. Ganun din sa drag force, kung same lang silang value. And another thing pala is the airfoil is able to bring is for the blade to attain the difference in pressure on the both side. Ito nga yung nabanggit ko kanina. And most curved side of, or we may say the convex side ng will generate low air pressure. And the high pressure air pushes on the less curved side, or we may say this side is slightly concave part. So this is the actual reason for the blade rotation. And actually, if the force ng lift is stronger than the drag, and that will cause the rotor to spin. Next slide, meron naman tayo ditong blade wind orientation. Here's now the question. Based on the figures stating the optimal angle of attack. Well, yung angle of attack, yan yung angle where which the relative wind meet the airfoil. And it's an angle formed in a chord of the airfoil at the direction of the relative wind. So, yun. And dito, may tanong dito. Which part of the blade is the leading edge and the trailing edge? Front and back. So, yung leading edge, which is the part where the blade that first hit by the wind in a normal operation. So, itong leading edge is usually mas mataba, fatter than the trailing edge, and typically should be smooth with no imperfection. While the trailing edge naman is, ito yung blade in the end of the airfoil. It is usually a knife edge of the blade. Yes, although today the trailing edge can be what we call the flat back of the airfoil, in which the knife edge is cut off flat, where this is allowed for the strongest structure and less weight. Now, here's the part to show the front side and back side, as well as the leading edge and trailing edge of the blade. So try to appreciate this figure. We can see here the leading edge, trailing edge, and front and back of the blade.
Another thing na dapat natin i-consider kapag magde-design tayo ng blade are the twisting and tapering of its portion. Yung tapering, example nito is sa kutsilyo. Kung mapapansin nyo dun malapit sa may handle papunta sa may tip, numinipis or nagiging narrow. So, sa pagde-design ng blade, kailangan ganun din. Ano nga ba yung may tutulong nito? Bakit ba kailangan na twisted and tapered yung blades ng wind turbine? Makakatulong to para ma-improve or ma-enhance yung aerodynamics. Na i-improve niya yung angle of attack, yung speed mas bumibilis yung pag-ikot dahil nga yung lift force is nadadagdagan and yung drag force is nababawasan, which is yung nag-o-oppose sa rotation ng blade.
Turbine number of blades. So let's start. So wind turbine, we have already know that the rear of the blade is curved more than the front. This varied shape causes a pressure differential when the air moves across the blade, which is what causes the blades to move. So dito, ang sinasabi lang dito ay yung more curve daw is yung nandun sa front and yung less curve is yung nasa likod. So, pagka kasi ang more curve kasi is meron siyang lesser na pressure compared to the less curved, which has the high pressure. So, alam naman natin na ang movement is from high pressure to low pressure. So, yun yung nagiging way niya para mag-function o umikot yung mismong wind turbine. So, because of the obstruction of the blade, air moves at a faster velocity behind the blade than in front of it. This is what sets the rotation of the blades in motion. So, sinasabi lang dito na yung blade daw ay nagmo-move has faster velocity than behind the blade in front of it. So, yun lang. So, next. Engineers must consider speed and drag in designing the blades to ensure the highest level of efficiency. For example, if too much drag is created by the obstruction of the blades, the power yield will be a lot lower. If not enough drag is created, the blades could move too quickly, causing them to break the sound barrier. So, sinasabi lang dito na as engineers na kailangan natin i-balance yung speed tsaka yung drag. Speed or lift first and yung drag first nito. Kasi pag mas mataas ang lift first mo is mas mabilis yung nagiging ikot nito. And yung drag first naman ito naman yung bagal sa mismong blades natin. So, kailangan natin to i-balance para syempre, pagka umikot ng mabilis yung mismong wind turbine, ang mangyayari dito is magkakaroon naman siya na kahit sabihin nating maganda dahil mabilis, magkakaroon naman siya ng mga ng mga complications. Magkakaroon siya ng complications na pwedeng masira ito ng mas mabilis or magkaroon ng mga minor damages na magli-lead to bigger problems. So, hindi rin naman natin pwede sabihin na too much pwede naman na too much drag force kasi nga kailangan din naman natin na magkaroon tayo ng sapat na ikot ng wind turbine para makapag-produce ng amount ng electricity sa mga bahay. So, baka mamaya once na masyadong mataas yung drag force natin, hindi baka mamaya hindi man lang kahit isang bahay hindi kayang mapag-generate ng isang bahay yung mismong wind turbine natin. So, kailangan natin na balance lang talaga siya. So, the rule of thumb. So, eto naman yung rule natin sa paggawa ng wind turbine. So, the fewer blades, the better, since there will be less drag and an increase in efficiency. So, ayun nga na pagka daw fewer yung blades natin is less drag siya. So, mababawasan yung pagbagal and magi-increase siya sa efficiency. So, ibig sabihin, mas magiging okay yung rotation niya. So, next naman, the number of blades increases the torque and reduces the optimum rotation speed. So, pagka naman daw nagdagdag tayo ng blades ng wind turbine, tumataas yung torque nito. Pero, nababawasan din ito yung rotation speed. So, di ba pag ganyan kasi, pag marami is umiikot siya pag ganyan marami is umiikot siya ng maayos dahil nga syempre merong balance na force doon na umiikot sa mismong ano natin, sa mismong windmill. So, ayun. So, having fewer blades reduces drag. So, yun nga gaya ng sinabi ko kanina, mababawasan yung sa kanya, pagbagal. So, next. So, ito naman yung examples or ito yung mga wind turbine natin na present. So, syempre, hindi naman natin kagad masasabi na magkakaroon tayo ng efficient na wind turbine by creating one turbine lang. So, marami tayong kailangan ng mga trial and errors para makuha yung pinakamaganda yung efficiency na wind turbine na pwede natin gamitin. So, one of is the one blade wind turbine. So, because of the decreased drag, one blade would be the optimum number when it comes to energy yield. However, one blade could cause the turbine to become unbalanced, and this is not a practical choice for stability of the turbine. So, 'di ba, kagaya nito, itong one day turbine, hindi kasi siya balanse. So, dahil dito, syempre, ang kinukuha kasi natin is yung efficient magiging efficient na turbine para syempre makapag-supply and makapag-generate ng electricity. So, next naman is yung two-blade wind turbine. So, at first glance, two-bladed turbine seems like the optimal configuration for a wind turbine. Perfectly balanced and with one blade less than a three-bladed turbine, they will generate less drag. So why aren't all turbines made with two blades? So it has troubles in yawing. Yaw is when its head or nacelle turns to face the wind due to the effect called gyroscopic precision. When a two-blade turbine yaw, it creates a wobble as the blades go from the vertical plane to the horizontal plane, which places additional stresses on the mounting bearings, wearing them down faster. So, etong ano, syempre 'di ba dahil meron tayong kung maano natin, kung iisipin natin, ah sobrang balance ng wind turbine kasi nga 'di ba, ng two blade na wind turbine kasi nga dalawa lang siya na umiikot. So, 'pag umangat yung isa, siyempre gagalaw agad yung isa. So, maghahati kasi yan 'di ba na bale 50-50 kasi yung mangyayari sa kanya. So, bakit 'di ba natin bakit hindi ito yung naging pinakamagandang design para sa atin? So, gaya nga ng sabi dito, nagkaroon ng problema ang two-blade wind turbine sa yawing. So, yung yawing kasi is, ito yung humaharap yung mismong ano natin, humaharap yung mismong nacelle, which is yung nasa likod nung mismong blades. So, humaharap siya kung saan merong wind para maging maging tuloy-tuloy yung ikot ng mismong wind turbine natin. So, ang naging problema sa kanya is nagkaroon siya ng wobble. Ito yung effect na tinatawag na gyroscopic precession. So, syempre dahil pagka ano siya, kapag nagwa-wobble siya is nagkakaroon ng mga paggalaw din sa mga ano natin, sa parts ng wind turbine. So, dahil nga 'di ba, binubuo ito ng maraming gears na kailangan din natin upang makapag-generate ng electricity. So, dahil sa pagwa-wobble niya, nagkakaroon ito ng effect dun sa mismong dun sa mismong nilalaman ng nacelle natin. So, dahil dito, sa halip na sa halip na mas mapamura tayo dun sa pagme-maintain dito is mas mapapamahal tayo kasi mas madaling nawe-wear yung mga laman nito or yung mga parts. So, next naman, more than 3 wind turbine. So, dito naman sa more than 3 wind turbine, any number of blades greater than 3 would create greater wind resistance, slowing the generation of electricity and thus becoming less efficient than a three-blade turbine. So gaya nga ng sabi natin kanina is pagka mas marami kang blades ng wind turbine is mas tumataas yung torque and nagle-less yung mismong bilis natin. So, kaya siya naging less efficient compared sa three-blade wind turbine. So, eto naman tayo sa three-blade wind turbine. For these reasons, turbines designed with three blades are the ideal compromise between high energy yield and greater stability and durability of the turbine itself. So, dito sa ano naman na to, sa wind sa three-blade wind turbine is dito napapakita na ito yung nagpapakita na ito yung pinaka-ideal para sa atin dahil 'di ba ang condition natin is yung efficiency. So lesser blades. Meron siyang less na blades. Tapos yung wobbling effect niya or yung pagyoyon sa yaw system niya is mas stable compare sa two-blade wind turbine. So, basically, ito ang pinaka-ideal nga talaga. Ito ang pinaka-ideal at pinaka pinaka matibay na naging ano ng wind turbine. So, mas durable din siya dahil nga doon and mas naging pinakamaganda siya kaysa sa ibang mga turbine na present sa atin.
So, let's proceed to blade tilting mechanism. So, sabi dito, according to the wind speed, the relative velocity, angle of the wind also changes. The blade tilting mechanism is sensor-coupled parts of the wind turbine which tilts the blades and guarantees proper alignment of the blades with the relative velocity. So that its position is always at the angle of optimum attack. So kanina na sa ni-report ng aking kagrupo is nabanggit na dito yung optimum angle of optimum attack. So para ma-reach natin yung angle of optimum attack, kailangan, dahil nga nagbabago-bago yung relative density ng hangin, kailangan pati yung ating blade is also nagbabago rin para nga ma-reach natin yung angle of optimum attack. And then next is nacelle. Sabi dito, nacelle. The nacelle sits atop the tower and contains the gearbox, low and high speed shafts, generator, and brake. Some nacelles are larger than a house, and for a 1.5 megawatts geared turbine can weigh more than 4.5 tons. Isipin nyo na lang kung makakakita kayo ng nacelle is kung gaano nga ba kalaki yun sa pag nakita nyo sa personal. Nacelle is a cover housing that houses all the gearing components in a wind turbine, including the generator, gearbox, drivetrain, and brake assembly. So, yun lang yun. Nacelle is basically, yun nga lang, housing lang siya. Siya lang yung nagpo-protect sa mga parts ng ating wind turbine.
Gearbox, the component which converts the slow rotation of the blade into faster speed. This is needed simply because the rotation of the blade generated from the force of the wind is usually not enough for generator to achieve a great quality voltage output. So mostly, di sapat yung ikot ng wind turbine. Kaya andyan yung gearbox. Ano nga ba yung role ng gearbox? Ang role ng gearbox is yung mabagal na ikot ng wind turbine, kanyang pabilisin ng gearbox so that when it passes in particular rotation of the generator will rotate, producing great quality output. The ratio of speed that the gearbox could bring is 90:1. So, once na umikot yung blade ng isa, ay iikot ng 90 times yung sa gearbox. So, connected sa generator, iikot din yung generator ng 90 times. So, next. A common ratio is about 90:1. Yun yung sabi ko kanina. With a rate of 16.7 RPM input from the rotor to 1,500 output RPM generator. So next. Alternative design, direct drive gearless. In a direct drive turbine, there is no gearbox. The main shaft spins the generator directly, causing it to spin at the same speed as the turbine blades. Di sapat yung ikot ng wind turbine, kaya tayo merong gearbox. Pero may iba tayong design at yun yung direct drive. In this design, wala na yung gearbox, yung kailangan pang patulinin yung ikot para ipasa sa generator para makapag-produce ng grid quality output. Kung ano yung ikot ng blade, yun na din yung ikot ng generator. Ang issue lang dito ay yung magnet na ginagamit. Kasi yung magnet na ginagamit dito ay yung permanent magnet made of neodymium. 90% or 95% of supply is coming from China. So, isa lang yung supplier. Kaya mas mahal yung kung bibilin. Saka yung idadagdag na magnet, pag malaki na yung magnet, malaki na din yung generator. Comparing to gear type, the slow rotation and decrease in moving parts of PMDD generator reduce fatigue and stresses on the turbine, resulting to reduced noise and vibration, longer lifetime, and lower costs of maintenance. One main disadvantage of PMDD is that to make for its lower rotation, more magnets are added to create the required frequency and power. This increases the diameter of the generator, which makes it larger and often heavier than gear type wind turbine. Another thing is that the additional magnets being used in this type is made of neodymium, which is expensive. Yun yung sabi ko kanina, yung ginagamit dito is yung neodymium na sobrang mahal pag bibili. So next, the cost and the weight of the direct drive turbine have prevented it from presenting major competition to the gearbox turbine until recently. Ang ginagamit, di bang magnet dito, yung made of neodymium. Kaya sobrang taas ng presyo. Pero other experts said na yung gearbox is nasa maximum efficiency na siya. Samantalang yung gearless type is marami pang need na improve. Pero once na na-improve na yon, pwede nang maunahan nung gearless type yung gearbox type, or pwede nang mataasan, mas mataas na siya. Then may advantage din yung paggamit ng gearless type. Advantage nito is yung less vibration compared to gearbox turbine. Kasi yung gearbox or gear type turbine umiikot ng mabilis. So mataas yung vibration. Kung ikukumpara dito sa gearless type na less vibration. Pero yun nga, mas mahal yung sa gearless, kaya kakaunti lang din yung gumagamit. Kaya mas ginagamit pa rin yung gear type turbine.
Brakes. The brake system in a wind turbine is protective device coupled with sensors which automatically rotation of stop the blade whenever it detects activities that could harm the system. So, sa madaling salita, yung brake lang is nire-reduce niya yung rotational speed ng blade assembly or pinipix niya yung blade so that it does not rotate in the case of power transmission maintenance or power generator rest. Pag in emergency naman, pinapahinto nito yung power transmission in. And makikita ito next sa gearbox. Next is the yaw system. The yaw system is a sensor-equipped machine consisting primarily of yaw motor, yaw drives, and others. Its function is to automatically rotate the nacelle on top of the tower so that the set of blade is facing the wind directly at all times. And it detects the direction through the electronic information being fed by the wind vane located at the back. This ensures that the wind turbines producing the maximum amount of electrical energy. And sa madaling salita, yung yaw system is comprised lang yan ng motor tas yung drive. Yung main purpose niya nga is the agreement is to move the nacelle and blades according to the wind direction. And during the nacelle movement, a fair chance of cable twist occur inside the tower. And it enables the wind turbine to capture the maximum available wind. Like na sabi ko sa kanina. Next, we have the tower. And wind velocity increase at the higher altitude. It means the taller the tower, the greater the electricity it can produce. Majority of the wind turbines are supported by conical tubular steel tower with a height of usually 75 to 110 meter, approximately 250 to 370 feet, depending on the blade diameter. And pinakamataas or the tallest steel completion in the BIP 2022, which 280 meter to be installed at the test center in the Western Jutland in Denmark. And yung tower, sa madaling salita, ito lang yung nagsusupport sa structure ng turbine. And usually, it comes in 3 section and assembled on site. Kasi, sabi nga doon, the wind speed increase with high. Yung pinakamataas yung altitude. And the taller the tower, the better to capture more energy and generate more electricity.
Now let's proceed to the ideal location na pagtatayuan ng wind turbine. So saan nga ba yung best place para magtayo ng wind farm? The best place for wind farms are yung mga karaniwan natin na nakikita sa coastal areas or sa tabing dagat. And sa top of rounded hills, open plains and gaps in mountains, maganda magtayo dito dahil yung hangin is strong and reliable. Meron din tayo makikita sa mga offshore, as you can see here in the picture. And pagka pipili tayo ng lugar, syempre, kailangan din natin i-consider yung hangin doon. So, dapat nag-a-average yung hangin sa speed ng 25 kilometers per hour para magamit siya ng maayos. I-discuss naman natin ngayon yung disadvantages and advantages ng paggamit ng wind turbine. So, unahin natin yung advantages. Here are some advantages of using wind turbine. Number 1 is, wind is free, wind farms need no fuel. So, di ba, hangin nga lang, di ba, yung ginagamit natin dito, kaya hindi na natin kailangan ng fuel. Number 2, produces no waste or greenhouse gases. Siyempre, dahil nga hangin lang, hindi siya magpo-produce ng waste or greenhouse gases. Number 3, the land beneath can usually still be used for farming. So, yung lupa daw, pwede pa natin magamit pang farming. Number 4, a good method of supplying energy to remote areas. Now let's proceed to the disadvantages. For the disadvantages of wind turbine, number one is the wind is unpredictable. It changes speed throughout the day and from season to season. So yun, mako-consider natin na disadvantage to dahil yung hangin is pwedeng bumilis, bumagal, lumakas or humina, or kaya mawala. Number two, suitable areas for wind farms are often near the coastal area where the land is expensive. So ayun nga, nasabi ko rin kanina na karamihan na nakikita natin na wind turbine is makikita natin sa coastal area or sa tabing dagat. And disadvantage yun kasi mahal yung mga lupa doon. Number 3, can affect television reception on nearby places.
So here is the largest wind farms in the world. So n- the first one is the Gansu Wind Farm, which has the capacity of 7,605 megawatts. Projectedly 20,000 megawatts in the country of China. So the next one is the Atlanta Wind Energy Center, which has the capacity of 1,548 megawatts and projected capacity niya is 3,000 megawatts. So it is found in the country of California, USA. Next is the Mopandal Wind Farm, which has the capacity of 1,500 megawatts and it is found in the country of India. So the fourth one is the Hornsea Project 1, which has the capacity of 1,218 megawatts in the country of UK. The fifth one is the Mark Bagden Wind Farm, and it has the capacity of 1,120 and it is projected to have a capacity of 4,000 megawatts in the country of Sweden. And lastly, the Jaisalmer Wind Park, it has the capacity of 1,064 megawatts in the country of India. So now we have the Gansu Wind Farm. So as for the last slide, the Gansu Wind Farm is the biggest wind farm in the world. So let's proceed to the details of the Gansu Wind Farm. So the Gansu Wind Farm project or Chikwan Wind Power Base is a group of large wind farms under construction in western Gansu province in China. In 2008, construction began on a 750 kilovolt AC power line to carry electricity from the wind farm, and construction of the wind farms themselves started in August 2009. In November 2010, officials announced that the completion of the project's first phase involving the installation of over 3,500 wind turbines with an installed capacity of approximately 5,160 megawatts. It has an estimated cost of 120 billion Chinese yuan or 17.5 billion dollars. The project is being built by more than 20 developers. So sinasabi lang dito na yung Gansu Wind Farm daw is ginawa noong i-start yung mismo project na yan in 2009. So ang unang daw niya, ang unang power line na kinakarry niya is yung 750 kilovolt AC power. So in 2010 naman daw, sinabi nila yung mga officials daw is gusto na nilang i-complete yung first phase para ma-install yung 3,500 na wind turbines. So, meron lahat ito na capacity na approximately na capacity na 5,160 megawatts. So, yung cost nito is syempre dahil sa ano ng structure na to is malaki yung structure and syempre marami ring mga developments. Ang cost nito is 17.5 billion na US dollars. So, binilt ito ng 20 developers. So, next naman is the Burgos Wind Farm. So, ito naman yung pinakamalaki na wind farm sa bansa natin. So, Burgos Wind Farm, the 150 megawatt Burgos Wind Farm is the largest wind power project in Southeast Asia located in Burgos, Ilocos Norte, Philippines. So, ito daw yung pinakamalaki na wind power project sa buong ano natin, sa Southeast Asia. So, the estimated cost for this construction of the wind farm was 450 million US dollars, which was completed in 2015. Located within a 600 hectare site, the facility consists of 50 turbines, each with a capacity of 3 megawatts, generating electricity to the Luzon grid. Each wind turbine rests a tubular steel tower, has a 75-meter hub height, and 90-meter rotor diameter. So comparing sa Gansu Wind Farm, syempre, maano naman natin na sobrang liit ng Burgos Wind Farm comparing sa Gansu Wind Farm. Pero sa atin, ito na yung pinakamalaki na project sa sa Southeast Asia. So ang ano nito, syempre dahil mas malaki yung Gansu Wind Farm, mas less naman yung cost nito. Dahil 450 million US dollars naman to. And ang Burgos Wind Farm is consist ng 50 na wind farm na merong 3 megawatt. So kaya ano siya, 150 megawatt yung mismong ano niya. So for the last slide naman, ito naman yung kung paano, syempre kailangan din natin malaman kung paano nagge-generate ang electricity by using the windmill or wind turbine. So, ang wind turbine is, gaya nga nito, is nagko-consist ito ng blade ng hub, tapos yung nacelle which has merong gearbox, tapos merong mga shafts. So, ang una kasi dito is, syempre, yung hangin is mag-flow siya kay blade. So, as the wind flows through the blade, so, syempre, magkakaroon tayo ng ano sa kanya, ng pressure which will cause the blades to rotate. So, yung hub is siya yung nagsusupport dun sa blade para umikot. So, dahil doon, yung hub is connected siya sa low speed shaft, wherein yung low speed shaft niya is nakonekta siya sa gearbox. So, ang function kasi 'di ba ng gearbox, gaya nga ng nasabi ng mga past reporter natin, na yung gearbox is ito yung nagpapa ito yung papataas ng ikot ng wind turbine. So, normally ang ratio niya is 90:1. So, ay 1:90 pala. So, per ikot, per isang cycle ng ng blade, per isang cycle niya is 90 na yung naiikot niya sa gearbox. So, ngayon, pag umikot si blade, pag umikot siya, ngayon magpa-process siya kay low speed shaft ng 1. So ngayon, si gearbox, ipaprocess niya ngayon ito ng 90. Ngayon, si gearbox is nakakonekta naman siya kay high speed shaft. Wherein, ito yung kumokonekta naman sa generator natin na syempre dahil nga 90 na yung ano niya, mas mataas na yung napoproduce niya na electricity. So, dahil doon, dahil sa lakas dahil nga ayun na, yun na, nag-start na siya ano ng energy, ng electricity rather. So, dahil nagge-generate na siya ng electricity, ngayon, mapupunta na siya sa transformer natin. So, pagpunta niya sa transformer natin, ayan, ida-direct na siya sa ano natin, sa system protector and pupunta na sa grid. Wherein yung grid is i-distribute na siya sa mga bahay-bahay. I-distribute na yung electricity sa mga bahay-bahay. So, yun po yung mismong flow ng ano natin, ng wind turbine.